Democrats outraged to find out that murdering children isn't a constitutional right, at the same time claiming that nothing in the Constitution is absolute, creating a hypocritical paradox that threatens their very existence, even though they themselves are threatening their own existence by mutilating themselves, and in some cases withholding sex in protest, creating another hypocritical paradox, endangering the very fabric of the space-time continuum. Meanwhile, Congress cleverly changed the words "shall not be infringed" to "sometimes can be infringed," completely unaware that 84 million gun owners have trigger fingers with which they can use to Google the Constitution at any time. Progressive experts say that they think they finally know how to speak the conservative language, but were disappointed to find out that they had in fact been learning the conservative alphabet backwards. This is Objective Truth, and welcome back to our channel. So, obviously the Roe v. Wade decision came out last week, and we haven't done a video since then. So we wanted to kind of cover that real quickly, and I think we have a lot to say about the subject. So with that being said, the left's reactions right now, I don't think we've seen them melt down this much since the 2016 election.
Oh my goodness.
It is delicious to watch. At the same time, it is very sobering, because you can see how wrapped up these people are and how obsessed they are with murdering children. So all joking aside, with the leftists melting down and everything, which is enjoyable, it's over murdering children.
Yeah, it's truly despicable. It is truly horrendous. Some of the things that I have seen people talking about, you know, people share TikTok videos, and you go on Twitter and you see all these tweets from people about how upset and horrified they are, and women's rights are being set back 50 years, and blah, 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 blah. Verbal vomit.
Yeah. So, and also, like, with the, and we just kind of covered this, women that are threatening to bar from having sex.
Yeah, do they not see the irony?
I actually am very for this. I want to encourage that.
Yes, please don't procreate.
Well, not just that, but, you know, maybe we can revert back to, like, you know, when sex is only used
Meant
for
something?
marriage and stuff like that. Anyway, obviously, in that we're seeing almost the exact, a mirror image of the same exact reaction in 2016, threatening to go to Canada, threatening revoking their citizenship. This is the classic line that they always use, and then they remember how good they have it here, and then they never leave. Sad for us.
Apparently, we did actually have two so far who officially have bought tickets somewhere else. Well, actually, I don't know if Billy Joe Armstrong actually bought a ticket somewhere else, but he publicly said he revokes his U.S. citizenship. And then you have some Twitch streamer, Pokimane, who I actually had heard of before this. She said she purchased a ticket to go back to Canada. Like, bye.
In a way, I think that's really, like, if they want to move to Canada, please do so. I will help. I will help you move. I will donate. Start a GoFundMe to help you move. I will donate to that.
Enjoy Fidel Trudeau.
I will donate. I will definitely donate to that. But I think this is also like with inside the states, like with the states. It obviously being left up to states, abortion is not completely outlawed.
Right. That's what they're not getting. They're freaking out and thinking, like, now that Roe was overturned, all of a sudden, abortion is immediately illegal. Like, what? No, that's actually not the case. It's just given back to the states, which it should have been a states' rights issue in the first place. Excuse me.
Yeah, so the California obviously doesn't have a limit on abortion right now. So if this is going to be the thing that actually forces all the liberals to go to liberal states and leave us Republican states alone, I am all for it.
You know, this might actually be the deciding factor of making everyone go completely red state or blue state and no more purple states, which that would probably be beneficial to everybody, because our lifestyles and our belief systems, just on a basic level, are no longer compatible. they are not compatible with one another. You have the conservative Republicans who, I'd say 99% of them, believe in the sanctity of life and understand that a preborn baby is just that, a preborn baby. It is a human being. It has value inherent in the fact that it is a human, and you can't just wipe that from existence. That is murder. I mean, there's a reason why it's a double homicide when a pregnant woman gets murdered.
Oh, ironically, you still get a double homicide in California.
Oh, I know.
But, you know, of course, the fetus is only a person when it's wanted. Then, if it's not wanted, then it's not a human being. It's a parasite. We've literally seen people. Oh,
that is actually the word that people have used.
Actually, I have a screenshot of a tweet that I saved from earlier today.
They're saying the quiet part out loud now.
Yeah. So this is from McCheeky23 on Twitter.
Genius name.
That's an awesome name. Anyway, it is the mother's body. The child is essentially a parasite. Is the mother obligated to give it any tissues, blood, and organs it needs after it's born to? That doesn't even make any sense. What if she has to work but can't because the fetus is in danger? What if she has other children to feed? So again, people are not understanding this is justification for murder. Like, there is no justification for murder, okay? I don't know
These
what they're not
arguments that they come up with are so tiresome because they're so easily explained.
It's murder. It is murder. It's done. That's final. It's murder.
Right.
Stop it. Stop it. But anyway, so people are literally calling them parasites if they're not wanted.
Yes.
Yeah. A human child, not even born, is apparently a parasite.
It's horrific.
So, well, obviously, scientifically, that's not even accurate. But even morally, that's not even accurate. It's not accurate at all.
These people who are calling babies parasites, I wonder if they have any clue of what the baby actually does for the mother during pregnancy. I wonder if they understand that the baby can actually sense disease in the mother's body and can sense emotional trauma in the mother's body, and especially like wounds and cuts and stuff. The baby can sense that and will send out stem cells from their own body that the baby is generating to build itself. The baby will send those stem cells out into the mother's body to help repair the mother's body. That's not a parasitic relationship. That is actually called symbiosis.
Yeah, I actually was just thinking about it. I was like, that's a symbiotic relationship.
It is. It's incredibly a symbiotic relationship. They are science deniers, and they want to say that we are the science deniers. Hello? Y'all don't even understand basic biology and what a woman is at this point. You cannot claim the scientific high ground at this point.
All right, calm down, Matt Walsh.
Scientific high ground. You can't claim the high ground on anything.
Well, no, they can't claim the high ground on anything. They try to claim the high ground. But anyway, so as a woman, how does this make you? You've had 3 children, and I can attest to that. So,
and I have also had a miscarriage, so I can speak to that side of the argument as well, that these people are freaking out about the miscarriage.
First off, with anybody who has had an actual healthy relationship with the mother, like a man, okay, a healthy relationship with the mother of their child, for instance, with our last child, 3 months old, she was responding quite a lot to me even being present in the same room with you.
Yeah.
And
she was a daddy's girl before she was even born.
Yeah. and it impacted me quite a bit because our other two weren't quite like that before. Yeah. So this one impacted me quite a bit, and we've had conversations about that. You saw that, but as a woman, how does this make you feel? The Roe v. Wade decision, and
overjoyed. Oh man. So this is actually something that I have been praying about. I don't know, probably since I was like 11 years old.
Well, I think most people our age that grew up in Christian homes, they've been praying about this ever since I can remember. Right. I mean, I remember when I was young, we would be. I mean, ever since I can remember, we'd have prayer meetings to
pray to
do away with abortion, and this is just the next step. It's not over.
No.
By the way, it still needs to be considered murder. Okay, this is not over.
The fight is still going.
It is a huge victory, a huge step in the right direction. But I don't want. We
celebrated.
Yes, absolutely, and that is fantastic. God has answered a major prayer here, but the fight isn't over because the babies still need to be considered human beings. Okay, that this is just something that needs to happen. So we still have some work to do. To catch back up to even
to 50 years ago
to what is right. I mean, we're in the negative right now. We're in the red. Even still with kicking it back to the states, major victory. I'm not
disqualifying that.
Right. I'm not disqualifying that point, but we really still need to keep praying that it's not done. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Very good step in the right direction. Huge step in the right direction. I mean, this is one of the most historic things that has happened in our lifetime.
Yes.
I mean, so anyway, sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to.
It's okay.
But I think that
a lot of tear up, so it was good
a lot of people have been praying for this. Obviously, most of the country that claim to be Christian have been praying about this ever since Roe v. Wade was a thing. I mean, so major victory here. On that point, I hope you don't lose your
I'm good.
Lose your spot, even though I just lost mine.
Oops.
No, it's on that point. Do you think this is a sign that we could possibly return to some type of morality?
I mean, it's a big if. The Bible does say, if my people which are called by my name shall humble their hearts, turn from their wicked ways and pray, I will heal their land. I don't believe I quoted that word perfectly, but prayer is powerful.
Yes.
Not only is prayer powerful, but repentance along with prayer is powerful. And we as Christians, we have the power to repent and apologize on behalf of others. Let me be careful and explain what I mean by that. We can acknowledge the sins of those around us. We can acknowledge the sin of abortion in our culture. And we can beg for forgiveness on behalf of other people. That's not to say they do not have a responsibility to do it themselves. But we as Christians, we can acknowledge that in our culture, and we can beg for forgiveness on behalf of others.
Yeah.
And that's something that we should be doing, because really it's our responsibility to bring God into every situation, to welcome him back, because God has been pushed out so hard, and we ought to pray, God, come back into this situation, please. even though there are people who are trying to push you out, we want you here. And I think that's something that is kind of lost on a lot of us, is intercessory prayer. That's what it is. It is intercessory prayer. And I think a lot of intercessory prayer is missing right now. But it is necessary. And I do believe that we can return to some moral absolutes in this country. Yeah. And I don't believe it's going to come through politics. I don't believe it's going to come through the leaders. That's the thing. This is going to have to be a grassroots campaign, if you will.
Yeah. Well, it's a change of culture. You have to change the culture before you can.
It's a hard issue. This is not something that can be reasoned with people on a mental level. Mm-hmm. It is a heart issue. It is a sin issue. And Christians are the only ones who really can combat that. I mean, we are the ones who have the truth of God's word. We are the ones who know what it means to have the Holy Spirit tugging on our heartstrings to which way to go. The unsaved, the lost, they don't have that. So they are only operating, realistically, they're operating as a dead soul. And when you try to reason with them on a moral issue, they're going to react to you as a dead soul. There are people who are closer to the truth and they'll have more understanding of moral truth. Like we have discussed in the past, everyone has innate within them that conscience, that understanding of right and wrong. But it is truly a heart issue. And I do believe that this is a step in the right direction, as well as the win for religious liberty.
Yes.
That was fantastic. The coach that definitely got vindicated for praying at the 50-yard line. I believe that is also a step in the right direction. I believe that's another sign that we could have a return to morality in this country. I believe in religious liberty. I don't just believe in Christian religious liberty. I believe in religious liberty. I believe a Muslim should have been able to pray at the 50-yard line. I believe that a Jew should have been able to, across the board. This is not just, Christian supremacy above everything. No, yes, because we have God's truth. But as an American, we need to allow the religious liberty for all. Yeah. And that does include Christianity. I've touched on that before. The separation of church and state nonsense doesn't actually exist, and people want to push that out.
Sure.
But yeah, so I do see that we have made strides in the right direction for return to morality, and it is encouraging.
Yeah, it's really hard to say.
But will it come before the return of Christ, or I don't know.
No. Well, that's not for us to really say here or there for. But what I will say is, back when Trump was elected in 2016, that was a huge thing.
Yeah.
For Christians and conservatives. Trump wasn't a Christian man,
right?
But he did uphold our values.
We do not believe that Trump is a Christian.
He does not live the lifestyle of a Christian. I will just say that.
And when he speaks about God, we do not see that he speaks from an understanding of true salvation.
But either way, he upheld Christian values. Mm-hmm. What I appreciate about him is that he's not a conservative.
No.
He's moderate at best. But people may be surprised to hear this. But he did exactly what he was supposed to do.
He spoke for the people.
As a voted in president or even candidate.
Yep.
Even he spoke for his base.
Yes.
He knew,
what we wanted, and that's what he ran on.
Which is exactly what's missing.
Went ahead with it
in Congress right now, because Congress, you have representatives and senators and everything that don't represent the people that voted them in the first place.
They're completely out of touch with what their constituents want.
Yeah.
And then they get into their selected respective offices, and then they push their own agenda, and the people that voted them in are like, hey, are we chopped liver?
And you need to vote those people out.
Yes.
Okay, period. I don't care. Try the next one, but vote those people out. Do not keep those people in. Okay, and obviously with the way our voting system works nowadays, it's not really the voting system that's a problem. It's the way that we have career politicians, which is why I think term limits are so important now. Because you have these people that can just keep getting voted in at, one after. It's going to be the same people. Well, he's familiar, so I'm going to go vote for him.
Yeah.
They never give anybody else a chance to really challenge them, because you have these people that have been in there for years and years and years. Well, I know what I'm doing. I know my thing. They know what they're doing. Kind of. They know what they're doing in the political platform, absolutely. Yes. But that's exactly why they need to be voted out. The reason why George Washington didn't become a king, even though he could have become one, people wanted him to be one. He chose not to, because he knew that power corrupts.
Yes.
Which is why we instituted a term limit for presidents in the first place.
That was his idea.
So why didn't we apply that to
Congress? Good question. That's a good
because
question.
You literally have the same exact type of problem there. We need term limits. That's an absolute. Anyway, my point is that these congressmen get in there, and then they'll start to push their, like, for instance, this, and not to get off topic, real quick here, but the gun thing, the gun bill that was just passed. Lots of Republicans were really upset, and rightfully so, on those 14 or 15 Republicans that voted on that gun bill, and sent very nasty letters to all those Republicans that voted for it from their district. And I have a personal friend of mine. 15. That's what I thought. I have a personal friend of mine who actually reached out to his congressman and lambasted him for voting for that gun bill. And his response was, well, we had to do it this way because blah, 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 a bunch of excuses. Doesn't matter. Once you're a representative, you no longer represent your opinion.
You do what your people want.
You have a duty to do what the people are telling you to do. You are a representative.
That's why you're called a representative and not a elected official to do my own bidding.
Right. So, anyway, we need term limits on this. I have no idea where we're going with that. We kind of got down a rabbit hole.
That's okay. I know what I was wanting to say.
Yeah. So please continue.
So bringing it back to the current situation of the liberal meltdown of the Roe v. Wade, there are a couple things that I want to specifically address, because I have seen just some of the most inane arguments on Twitter, and people have been sending me these TikTok videos. They're like, what do I do about this? Is this actually a thing? I'm like, okay, let's just look at the facts here. So first off, there is no medical reason for an abortion. Okay? There is no life of the mother situation that needs to be addressed. We have the technology now that the baby can literally be delivered in the amniotic sac They have done tremendous medical procedures on babies while they are still in the womb. Okay? You deliver the baby, open the amniotic sac, do a procedure on it, close the amniotic sac, and put the baby back in. I have seen that happen 3 times, actually, that I can think of. So there is no situation where the life of the mother or the life of the baby are in conflict. You either deliver the baby regular way, or you deliver the baby through C-section. Okay? These are both situations that across the board can be applied to any problem. Preeclampsia, hypertension, those are the same thing. Whatever that medical word was that just completely escaped my mind.
You just mentioned preeclampsia. I was watching Steven Crowder this morning, and his
and both of our mothers delivered us with preeclampsia. But I know my mom did. Your mom did too, didn't she?
Not exactly, no.
No, the cord was wrapped around your neck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but
I knew both of us were.
You mentioned preeclampsia and
birthed under duress.
One of Steven Crowder's, I forgot his name right off the top of my head. Anyway, he was talking about him and his wife, who gave birth to. He was basically researching all of this stuff. Oh, this is my point. This is not hard stuff to find out, by the way.
No.
This is very easy stuff that you can research on your own. You don't need a doctor's opinion to get the stuff. And they have literally step-by-step instructions on what to do if this happens, if this scenario happens, if this happens. And they were talking, well, preeclampsia was one of those things that they were talking about.
Right.
Which you have about 3 to 4 minutes to basically save your child's life if preeclampsia happens.
If you don't know what preeclampsia is, it is extremely high blood pressure to where the veins could actually burst.
Well, it's when the baby basically cuts off circulation.
The baby causes it.
Because they get into a position where they're crushing the umbilical cord that's obviously feeding oxygen and blood flow to the baby from the mother. And so anyway, and they get into a position where their head cuts it off. But it's gross. But the way that you fix that is you have to shove your hand up there and move the head.
Mm-hmm.
But this is obviously after, like, in active labor, obviously. But these are things that, with a little bit of research, can be found out. People are a little bit too dependent nowadays on doctors.
Yes. Hello. Women have been delivering babies for thousands of years. Okay? Your body was literally built to birth a child. Yeah. Okay?
It's come to a point where people are so dependent on
medical intervention.
Medical intervention where
3 natural births, by the way. So
where they're depending on every doctor's opinion on everything. Yes. Basically holding their hand through every single step of their medical, I would say medical or health lifestyle, I guess. I don't really know.
My last 2 pregnancies, I don't think I even went to get prenatal care until after 20 weeks.
You don't need a doctor's opinion on everything that you do, okay? There is
in fact, sometimes you know your body better.
There's plenty of information out there, easily researched on your own. You just got to put a little bit of the effort in, and it is just a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. Plenty of information out there. Plenty of people that are posting things to help mothers with any situation.
Yes.
This is not given. Before the internet, okay, people were more independent on the doctors because that information wasn't readily available. We have the internet now, and no, not everything on the internet is true, but these things can be researched.
Use your critical thinking.
Common sense. Anyways.
Just a quick reference for, just at least one reference that I wanted to give you regarding there is no medical reason for an abortion. Dr. Christina Francis is a board-certified OBGYN, and we will link her video in the description. She did a quick little, I think it was on TikTok that she posted it. And she explained about this. She has been an OBGYN, I think, for over 20 years, is what she said. She just came off a 24-hour shift at her hospital, and then she did this video because she was realizing there were a lot of people who were spreading misinformation about how, well, life of the mother. Yeah, that's not a thing. Second point that I wanted to make. There are people who are now flipping their lids because in some of these states, they are saying that the legal terminology in their trigger laws, the laws that went on the books to ban abortion, these people are falsely claiming the wording in these bills, or laws, I'm sorry, they're laws, will make a woman prosecutable for having a miscarriage or an ectopic pregnancy, or a miscarriage from an ectopic pregnancy, or any kind of miscarriage, because medically a miscarriage is labeled a spontaneous abortion. Now, in this case, I am going to reference constitutional litigation attorney Casey Bird Kelly. She did a very thorough talk about this, actually, and it's pure hooey. Like, it really is. This is a fear-mongering tactic that people are trying to say, oh, now that Roe is overturned, you're going to be prosecuted if you have a miscarriage.
Like that was ever a thing to begin with.
No.
Goodness, people.
These laws do not talk about spontaneous abortion. It is an act of murdering the baby.
Yeah.
It is intentional. It is willful. It is something that you actively participate in. Ectopic pregnancy, if you do not know what this is, I'll just read you what it is exactly, so you're not just listening to me explain it. Complication of pregnancy in which the embryo attaches outside the uterus. Very simple. Usually it lodges in the fallopian tube. But that can be extremely painful, and, nesting outside the uterus is not a situation where the baby can survive. So, newsflash, you actually can have a procedure done where they move the baby into the uterus from wherever it has nested, usually in the fallopian tube. So again,
this is all jargon to me.
I'm hoping that the women who are watching know their anatomy enough to understand what I'm saying. If you do not,
yeah, men are completely lost. I'm just
that's completely fine.
Talking about cervical mucus and stuff like that. We're just gonna.
As a woman, I really strongly encourage you to understand your own anatomy and to understand what happens throughout your month. Okay? Because if you don't understand, that is also going to be something that lends to your gullibility in believing the lies surrounding abortion. Because if
Should I step out for this conversation?
No, you're good. I'm going to keep it
PG.
Maybe not G, but I'll keep it PG. If you don't understand how God designed your body and what it actually does, you're going to think, oh yeah, okay, so it is just a clump of cells. You're going to think, oh, okay, well, maybe if I have a miscarriage, I'm really going to be prosecuted. I might go to jail just because I lost a baby. No, sweetheart, you're not. Okay?
Well, that's the fear and the lies that they believe from the left.
Yes, we've discussed that a few times.
This is why you need abortion. This is why you need abortion rights, because blah blah blah. No. Just no.
Right.
None of that is true.
So our video cut off recording for some reason, but we are back. So anyway, that is a tactic by the left, is fear-mongering. They will put out any thought that will terrify you, because if you are terrified, you are easily controlled.
And that's the thing, is like these, if you go out and talk to the people that are, I would say, pro-choice, not the crazy ones who are looking for any excuse to just murder children, you're probably going to find most of these.
They are out there.
Yeah, yes, they are, and we've already spoken to people.
I have personally spoken to 2 of them who straight up told me, yeah, the way my body looks is more important than a baby's life. Near verbatim quote there, by the way.
These people should not be allowed in society.
But anyway, back to the normal pro-choicers.
Normal pro-choice, if you really talk to them tactfully, get them to get a little bit of their understanding, you're gonna find that at least half the time, everything that they believe in is based off of complete falsehoods.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault, really. They're being indoctrinated with this stuff, brainwashed with this stuff, to believe that this is why you need abortion rights.
The cases of rape and incest. Okay, let's talk about that. Not even...
I'm going to look up the current stats.
Yeah, it's pretty much 1% or less of all abortions are because of rape and incest. All right, here's the principle. Number 1, murder is wrong. It is never okay to murder, much less a child.
It goes back to the basic philosophy of 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Yes, and here's the second principle on this.
Anyway.
You do not punish someone else for the sins, crimes, and atrocities of someone else. That rapist is who should be punished, not the innocent life that has been brought into this world because of them. You do not put someone on death row because their brother murdered someone. You do not put someone in jail for 30 years because their aunt's cousin's nephew went out and robbed a bank. The same way, you should not murder the baby because a rapist impregnated you. That baby did nothing wrong. That baby is a precious, innocent life. And then I'm going to go ahead and address this issue of people saying, well, you're not really pro-life, you're just pro-birth. Oh, this is my favorite. This is my favorite line from these morons.
Yes? I found the stats just whenever you...
Oh, go ahead before I move on.
The national rape-related pregnancy rate. This is not even like abortions from rape. This is just the national rape-related pregnancy rate.
Okay.
Is 5% per rape among victims of reproductive age.
Wow. Only 5%.
So among adult women, an estimated 32,101 pregnancies result from rape each year.
And for the record, we personally have a friend who was raped and became pregnant because of the rape.
Twins, I think, right?
Twins, yes.
Yes. She did the right thing.
She did the right thing. And you know, what's even more amazing? She was in her 50s when it happened.
I thought she was older than that. She was in her 60s.
No, she's in her 60s now.
Oh, okay.
She was in her 50s when this happened. She got pregnant. She didn't even know that was possible. But you know what? She carried what she thought was the baby. Come to find out, 2 babies.
So one more statistic. This is pregnancy rates for U.S. women right now. This is CDC. 4,131 live births, 1,152,000 induced abortions, and 1,087,000 fetal losses.
That is more abortions than miscarriages. More purposeful killing of babies than tragic loss of them.
Yep.
That's detestable. Anyway, so she carried those twins to full term and gave them up for adoption to a family member. She was part of that 5% of pregnancies through rape.
One more. Number of births for the U.S. from 2020 this is from the CDC as well, 3,613,647. The birth rate is 11 per 1,000 population.
Oh, that's horrible. Elon Musk is correct. We are going extinct.
Well, this is actually something I wanted to talk about a little bit, was the clearly obvious. Might as well now. I was going to wait till at the end of the video.
I will remember where I was going with.
But since we're on the topic, this is it's not surprising that basically the agenda is to kill off human beings, because first off, if you look at it from a purely political standpoint, how do I say this? Everything that the left is pushing is basically to limit the population. First off, they push the EPA agendas on us all the time. We're killing the planet just by being alive. Humans are bad because we're using the planet to our advantage and we're building it. And anyway, so you have those tree huggers that are saying humans are a parasite to the world and we need to let nature thrive and everything, and humans are bad because we're getting in the way of that. You have that agenda. Then you have the abortion agenda with the same thing. Humans are basically bad, babies are parasites, right? And it all kind of wraps up in one. Now, the moral argument for this, obviously, God gave us command to multiply. Not surprising that this is the left's agenda, because
really it's Satan's agenda.
It's opposite of what God told us to do. Yeah, because it is Satan's agenda to kill the stewards of creation, mankind. So it's really, it's really not that surprising when you think about it.
Yeah.
But it is their agenda to kill off human beings. Anyway, continue.
Okay, well, I was just going on about how they like to say we are pro-birth and not pro-life. I love it when they say that, because it means they haven't done an ounce of research. Not an ounce. Do you want to know who is the most likely group to foster children? Wild guess. Who do you think? Conservative Christians.
Huh.
Conservative Christians by far are the largest group of people to foster children. Do you know who the largest group of people is to adopt? Conservative Christians, by over half. According to ethicsdaily.com, 5% of practicing Christians in the United States have adopted, which is more than twice the number of all adults who have adopted. In addition, a survey showed that 38% of practicing Christians had seriously considered adoption, while only 26% of all adults had. And here's the other thing, adoption is extraordinarily expensive. And Christians are shelling out that money to adopt. Christians are shelling out that money to foster to adopt, because it is cheaper to foster than adopt, because while fostering, the government gives you stipends to help take care of the children. So
I was trying to find the percentage of what 32,000 is compared to the birth rate of 2020. I'm not good at math. I completely forgot how to find that percentage.
So you would do the total birth rate, the total birth over the 32,000.
Like times it.
To come up with a decimal point, and then you switch that decimal point to a percent. So the large number, divide by the small number. And you're going to come up with a decimal point.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then you move 2 places to the right and come up with a percentage.
That's right. Yeah, let me do that. Sorry. Go ahead.
And it just fascinates me how they want to use this "you're pro-birth, not pro-life" argument, because it is so easily wiped out. It is an indefensible argument. They are categorically wrong every single point they try to make about this.
You said move it 2 spaces to the left?
To the right. And no, what's the total birth rate?
Well, I was
the large
just
number?
guestimating that I was
3
rounding
point
down
something
3 million
million?
times 32,000.
Okay,
Or divided by 32,000.
So let's see. 3 million
I'm not good at math. My bad.
divided by 32,000.
So I did. Oh, is that how you're supposed to do it?
Yes. Okay.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah. Smaller number divided by the
Okay,
larger
so
number.
it is 1%.
Okay, so it's 1%. Yes.
And that's not even the ones that are aborted.
Can you tell exactly what it was you were trying to find the percentage of again?
Yeah, no. So this is the percentage. This is the percentage of births in the U.S. The total percentage of birth in the U.S.
that is caused from
that
rape?
is caused from statutory rape.
Okay.
1%.
Only 1% of all births.
There you go.
From 2020?
From 2020.
Okay.
Literally just did the math. Thank you.
You're welcome.
1%.
But,
and it's dropping because the birth rate
yes.
is dropping as well.
So anyway, they're categorically wrong every time that they bring this argument up. Christians adopt more, Christians foster more, and you know, I don't have the statistics right in front of me, but I know for a fact that if adoption were cheaper, you would have likely hundreds of thousands more Christian families adopting.
Don't you have more babies that are up for adoption than actual families that are able to adopt?
No, the wait list for adopting a baby... Or
is it the other way around?
It's the other way around. The wait list for adopting a baby is ridiculously long.
Yeah, that's right.
People want babies. People are literally going on the black market.
That's what I meant in my head. I figured.
They're literally going on the black market to find babies to adopt because there's not enough babies on the market. I hate to say it that way, but there's not enough babies being born for people to adopt.
Birth rate's dropping every year.
Exactly. Because you have people who are desperate for a child. They're desperate for a baby. And, you know, they, quite honestly, can't have children for medical reasons or whatever the case may be. They can't have children. And then you have some people who are like, well, those couples should just go ahead and adopt an older child in the foster system. Yes, while I agree with you, I also do not want some 20-year-old couple who found out that they cannot have children adopting a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old out of the foster care system, because those 20-year-olds, they're babies themselves. They ought not be raising a teenager. Okay? That's an entirely different topic. If they're extraordinarily mature and they can handle adopting that teenager, okay, all right, we can have that discussion. But really, I mean, think about that. Even a 12-year-old being adopted by 20-year-olds, that's only an 8-year difference. I mean, they're not even really old enough to be that 12-year-old's parents. They're more like a big brother situation. Which, it's just, you can argue with me about this. I'm fine with that. I understand it's not a solid point here. This is me just throwing out an opinion. But yes, there need to be more people who are willing to adopt older children. And it's...
Well, because those people still need a home.
Yes.
You know, it's not really
We're not
fair.
saying it's a perfect system.
No.
But what we are saying is that people looking to adopt babies,
it's the ideal.
Well, there's so many on the waiting list. And this is the conversation I was having with this individual who told me that her body shape is more important to her than the life of the baby. She basically said, I don't have to care that there are people waiting to adopt a baby. I don't want stretch marks. I don't want a scar from a C-section. You know, that was her argument.
Very shallow. I mean, I don't know how much more shallow you can. I don't know how much more shallow you can get than that.
It was literally, look, me first above all else, and anyone and anything else.
And you know what? That's
not my problem.
On a non.
This is what humanism gets you.
Yeah. On a non-moral argument, that is completely fine. You do you. You know, if you don't want to have kids because if you don't want to have kids because you care about your body, you don't want to mess it up, whatever, that's fine. We're just asking you to not murder a child. Okay, take responsibility for your actions. Don't have unprotected sex.
Contraceptives are a thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but that's something that they're threatening that we're trying to take away.
Oh, right. You
know, I actually, when I heard that argument, I imagined Beto, or like the voice in the Beto O'Rourke. Heck yeah, we're coming for your condoms. Heck yeah, we're coming for your spermicide.
Obviously, Beto didn't say heck.
No, he didn't. I did that for, trying to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah. But
I mean, I'm just like, that's hilarious. Because name one conservative that has said we're coming for your contraceptives.
The amount of imagination that they've got truly astounds me.
That's what they make us sound like. They make us sound like Beto O'Rourke saying,
hey, yeah, we're taking your AR-15s.
HELL. We're taking your AR-15s, AK-47s. They're saying that about us with their contraceptives. That's not the case.
No.
Not even close. No. Not even close. No. We're for contraceptives and family planning, but abortion is just wrong. That is the basic end of this conversation. It's murder. Okay, we're just trying to say murder is wrong. Please stop doing it. It's that simple.
Right.
Don't have unprotected sex, or better yet, don't have sex at all.
Unless you're married. Yeah, and somebody wanted to ask me, what does marriage have to do with it? I'm like, because you are like 17 more times as likely to carry a baby to full term if you are in a loving, stable, healthy relationship with a married partner who will be there to support you through the life of that child.
Golly, it's almost like someone, set it up that way. Like, that's what it was supposed to be for in the first
Wow.
place.
Golly gee, it's almost like there was someone intelligent who put this whole thing together.
Anyways, continue.
That's pretty much it. I mean, that about wraps it up. Unless you've got something else.
I did have a couple of things. So when I think it's actually kind of ironic, you know, going back to the people who are threatening to not have sex with men, cutting men out of their.
No. I'm sorry. They didn't say with men.
Oh, they just said period, right?
No.
Or what did they say?
They said with penises.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yes.
We need to stop having sex with penises.
Yeah.
Guys, come on.
We're not complaining.
This is so ridiculously dumb.
We're not complaining, by the way.
Continue.
Please continue
Gender
to do that.
ideology, garbage.
If you believe that, then yes, I will support you on that. Please stop having sex with penises. Basically, yes, absolutely. Please stop fornicating. I am all for that.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is,
you are inadvertently giving us what we want.
It's actually rather hilarious because it's kind of ironic. They don't even realize what they're doing.
No.
Like, in a way, they're giving us exactly what we've been trying to tell them in the first place.
Yep.
They're doing exactly what we've been trying to tell them not to do
ever since the 60s.
But they're doing it.
Cultural.
But they're doing it in protest. Yes, that's what they're doing it in protest, though.
You're doing something in protest that we want you to do.
So yeah,
real smart.
In a lot of ways, the free love, free sex has allowed our culture and our society to evolve into
devolve
into these transgender issues, these, you know, same-sex relationship issues and all that, which they're literally breeding themselves out of existence, or more or less not breeding themselves out of existence. But this is kind of the effect of atheism, when you are taught that you're just a hunk of meat, right? Which is actually, this is proof that the religion of atheism is a logical fallacy. Because if in fact atheism believes, which I'm gonna assume that atheism comes with evolution, right? 99% of the time comes with evolution, unless you're a weird atheist who doesn't believe in evolution.
Not really sure how that would work, but
it doesn't.
Apologies for that jump. The dog had to go outside. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. So this whole thing kind of proves that atheism is a logical fallacy based off of their belief of evolution. Because you would think that, you know, as evolutionary beings, we would evolve into more intelligent, more technologically advanced beings, you know. But in fact, this exact mindset is contributing to our extinction. So is that like,
it's ironic?
Is that the logical end of evolution? Is extinction? No, that's not their argument.
That seems like the opposite of evolving to me.
Right. It's devolving, not evolving. So this kind of proves that it's a logical fallacy. But anyway, so I had a question for you. So actually, on top of that, kind of to segue, with this whole thing, kind of, I can see this going one of two ways. Either liberalism in general, modern liberalism in general, progressivism, corrects itself, admits that, okay, you know what, all that stuff, we were wrong. We're going to change our course and go a completely different way.
Correct.
and then they're going to disown transgenders. They're going to disown gays. They're going to disown, the abortion argument, stuff like that, which I don't see.
I don't see it going. I don't see
happening. Or they literally go into extinction because
I believe they drive themselves into the ground
because of their logical end.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Do you think that it's possible that this could be the beginning of the end of liberalism, modern day liberalism?
Well, yes and no. Looking back at history, you have countless examples of bad ideas that were instituted in societies. And these societies fell. You have great empires that fell because they started to go woke for their day. So, in a sense, yes, this may be the beginning of the end of American
perfect modern example of that, by the way, is the French Revolution.
Exactly. That's actually something I was thinking of.
That is the most recent, I'd say, modern.
I think, yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, you could also
on a large scale anyway. You've got smaller scale inside.
You could also argue, the USSR and stuff like that as well. But I mean, you still have communist China and stuff. Anyway,
right.
Sorry, continue. French Revolution just popped in my mind. I'm like, that is a perfect example of
right. It. So, I think it could possibly be the end of our current American progressivism, in the sense that they're probably just going to ride it out so hard that those of us who have the rational critical thinking skills needed to survive are just going to naturally win out, because we see these things for what they are. Mm-hmm. We see the logical fallacies. We see the just complete hubris and hypocritical nature of so many of their arguments.
I like that word, hubris.
Well, they have a lot of hubris. They are...
Not hummus? I'll take some hummus.
And we got some sweet potato hummus in there.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's just complete chaos that they are going to bring themselves to.
Mm-hmm. Well, because
let's go back to Benjamin Franklin. When you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything. No, that I did not quote that correctly. When you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything.
Something like that.
And they currently are standing for nothing. And you're going to say, well, no, they're standing for transgenderism. They're standing for LGBTQIA plus ampersand hyphen blah, blah. But in reality, look at what they're doing. They are simply tearing down what has been, but they're not trying to replace it with anything. They're trying to take away these racist, homophobic, transphobic, systemic entities within our society, but then they are not offering any alternatives for what should be instituted. All they are doing is destroying.
Right.
And that is simply going to bring about chaos. So, and we've talked before that chaos can only lead to absolute dictatorship in order to bring about more order, because a functioning society cannot exist without order.
Because the dictatorship is a form of order.
Right.
Yeah.
It may not be a happy order, but it's a form of order.
Right. Yeah.
So, yes, I do believe that they will eventually push themselves to extinction. And I'm not saying push themselves to extinction like they're all going to die off. No. Push their ideologies and their philosophies into extinction.
Isn't this this is kind of reminiscent of what I just heard on one of Andrew Klavan's videos just a couple weeks ago, where he was talking to, I think it was Andrew Klavan, I'm not sure.
Okay.
The end of atheism, like, is atheism dead, type of thing, and kind of goes into that conversation.
Eric Metaxas, when Andrew Klavan had Eric Metaxas on.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of goes into that because
Down.
like I said in our first episode in our moral relativity segment, it's going to correct itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, order is not born out of chaos. So when you have a universe that thrives on the law of order, that also affects philosophy, not just our physical reality. So
sorry, just shaking the camera.
So anyway, I believe that they will eventually. They already have been overplaying their hand quite a bit on pretty much every level, and people are starting to wake up to that, I think.
Yes.
And even though we've had a setback, you'll realize that for the past, let me see, when did Obama become president? 2008?
2008.
So since 2008, and even George Bush was not extremely conservative on things. He was Republican, but looking back on his policies, he actually had kind of a lot of progressive policies.
Yeah.
That did not help. And before him was Bill Clinton. This country hasn't had a true conservative except for Trump, which he's not even a true conservative.
He just did what conservatives wanted.
The fraction of the past. When did Bill Clinton become president? 1992, or the year we were born. Since 92, the fraction of years that conservative values have actually been in power in our political world, very small.
Yes.
We have not gotten a break for a very long time.
So that's why when Roe happened, I mean, we are starting. There's a momentum going, and I think that obviously the 2020 election was a setback, but I think that Trump was a wake up call for a lot of people, and I think I would not be surprised if our momentum started to pick back up quite a bit. Obviously, these midterms are going to be very devastating for the Democrats if they're legitimate elections, but I think they're overplaying their hand. Yeah,
and we need to help them do that. So anyway, this has been fun. I'm glad we were able to talk about this with you guys.
Sorry, we kind of sat on this topic for a couple of days.
We were very busy. It was a very busy weekend.
It's been quite the weekend for us.
We had a church outing, and then several other things going on. And I was at church on Saturday.
I canned
and
50 pounds of peaches with my sister-in-law.
So, do you want to point them to our new website?
We just launched a blog to accompany our YouTube channel here. It is onlyobjectivetruth.blogspot.com, and we will link that down below in the description. And again, you can email us at onlyobjectivetruth@gmail.com. I'll try to remember to link that in the description. Again, we are pretty new at this, and comments, likes, subscriptions, please give them to us.
Smash the subscribe button and the like button.
Yes.
Leave us some comments. Yeah. Don't break your phone or your laptop, whichever.
Yeah, don't actually punch. It's my karate coming out.
We're not calling for violence.
Absolutely not.
Unlike
no violence.
Martha Waters. Maxine Waters.
Maxine Waters.
Yeah, Maxine Waters. So leave us some comments, and also we want to do some topics that you guys are interested in as well. We have several other ideas and segments that we're wanting to do. We're going to continue this, and I actually want to. I didn't tell you about this yet, but I actually within the next probably couple days, I kind of want to stream us playing some Darksiders or something like that.
Oh, that'd be fun
for our video game enthusiasts.
Yeah.
But just like a short little while. It doesn't have to be long. So you can look forward to that. But yeah, leave us some topics in the comments, or you can email us. Either way.
If you game on PlayStation, leave your gamer tag in the comments.
Maybe we can party up.
Email us
at some point. So
Party up, talk some politics while we, I don't know, kill some people in COD or something.
I always justify it as, they're communists, so I think it's okay. The only good communist is a dead communist. So, anyway,
Stay zero, slay commies.
You guys have a good night. It's been fun. Talk to you later.